Around like 6 or 7 years old when I got my cochlear implant, and the surgery was all that. So I went to Children's Hospital in Boston, and I mean I was very young, so it was kind of hard to remember, but I do remember this big thing on my head. Like it was a big bandage after the surgery, and it was like wrapped around my head. I wish I don't remember how long I had to stay there. I think I stayed there for like 2 days after. And I do remember a time where before the surgery, you go in to like talk to the doctor, talk about the surgery with, so me and my mom were there, and I remember him saying, oh, they're gonna like put you to sleep. They're gonna put like a cute little mask on you, and then you're just gonna go right to sleep. And I bawled down crying, literally, because I was so scared.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But my mom, I am the only hearing impaired person in my family. So both of my parents are hearing, and so when I was born, it's all genetics. I was born with hearing impaired. Then she decided to do the surgery with just one ear. I'm not sure why. I think that's what the doctor recommended, I guess. So I still wear a hearing aid on the other ear.
Okay.
And I still have some hearing on that side without the hearing aid. But my cochlear side, nothing. And I do remember it was very painful taking off that bandage. I don't know why, but that was like the worst part. I went home with it, and I had to keep it on for a couple more days. Then I remember coming back to the hospital, and they were like, oh, let's take off the bandage, let's see how it looks. That part hurt, because I think like the bandage was like stuck onto like my stitches and all that stuff. That was not fun.
Yeah.
I started school in like a K-school program. So I was with the same classmates from preschool all the way up to like 3rd grade. Always with like 6 other students, and we all went really close, and we all like basically grew up together. And we were surrounded by teachers who were specified to teach students with hearing impaired. So I feel like then I felt like I had a place where I belonged to. And so 3rd grade was my last year in K-school. And then my mom was getting nervous about like transferring me into middle school and high school. I'm obviously gonna have to go to the one in my town. So I think it was 4th grade actually. 4th grade was my last year, and 5th grade was when I went to my like elementary school in Arlington. And that was so hard. I don't know,
Really?
I can't remember exactly, but I feel like every child goes through, going to a new school, it's different, new people and all that stuff. So I was going through like, I don't know anyone there. I was very quiet, but at the same time, I was also like, all these people hearing. So that was like another level of stress that I was going through, and I was like, no one seemed to understand me. Also, I had a piece of string that attached my cochlear implant to my shirt. It was like a clip, and it always stuck out of my hair. So like I used to like try to hide it, and like sometimes I'll even take it off, and my mom would be really upset when I did that. But it was just like very embarrassing, and like people would be like, what's that? Like, what's that string? Like, what is that? And I never had the issue. I never had like a problem. I stayed back in 3rd grade in K-school actually, because that's when they started sending me to a hearing class. It was like 25 other students, and that was when my teacher was saying she needs to stay back. So I stayed back 3rd grade. So by the time it was 5th grade, I was still behind, and they wanted to stay me back again, and I didn't want to. My mom did not want to do that. So that's when I started taking summer courses, like summer camp, summer school, that's what it was, summer school. And I also did Sylvan. I don't know if you heard of that. It was a whole lot better for me. It was more like one-on-one.
Okay.
With kind of like tutoring, almost how it was. So when you go in, you test, and they see where you're at. I think I did math and writing and reading. I think that's what I did. So I did like 3 different tests to see where I'm at, and then they basically make a plan. And it was only like once or twice a week. It wasn't like every single day like summer school was. So that was really helpful, and I was able to kind of catch up in 5th grade. I did have to wear, no, I didn't have to wear it, but the teacher wore it. It was like an FM, so it's like a little mic, and then it connects to the boots, which is like a little connection piece for my hearing aid and for my Cochlear implant. But I did have a couple teachers who were very helpful. I had a speech teacher who would take me out of the class, and then I would do speech lessons or speech class with her. I was in academic support group, so this was when, you know, a teacher will go in all of your classes with you, and so I had other students who are in that class too, who were also in every single one of class I'm in, which was great. But you know, they all had like different other like reasons why they're in academic support. But it was nice to like know that there are other people who are kind of like me, you know. So that made it really helpful. I got really close to all of my academic support teachers, kind of like check-ins. Like I think I had a check-in the beginning of the day, a check-in at the end of the day. So in the beginning of the day, it wasn't like, it was also like emotional, but it was also academical. Like they'll say like, have you done your homework? Like, did you understand it? Do you need help? You know, sometimes if I miss something in class, I'll ask them like, did I miss anything? Like, you know, they were really supportive, especially my 8th grade support teacher. He was amazing. He had like a list on his board. Like he had half of the board that was just for like an agenda. And he would have it for each kid. It wasn't just me. It was like every kid that he had, but it really helped me because he, like, it's like me seeing it on my agenda, but also seeing it on his just like makes me feel better that I'm like, I didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
And he was very helpful with the FM. He made it seem like it's not like a big deal. Like he would come in before we all had to go into the class, and he would just put it on the desk, and that's it. Like it was like less like, you know, the teachers seeing it and everyone's seeing it, and like, oh, I'm the one who's giving it to them. Like that was like weird, but it made it easier. And he also let me do like breaks, of course. Like sometimes I'll get like really anxious during class, and I feel like I can't do anything. I feel like I can't leave. I feel like I can't do anything. But he was the one who said, you can take a break. Sometimes the sound in the room would get too loud. So he would say like, if you want to go somewhere quiet, which is something that I'm so used to, quiet places. So he understood that.
Yeah.
So he gave me a lot of like flexibility to help me and help the barriers. I think like, I remember like wishing that they taught more about that, or like not just hearing impaired, but like other disabilities too, even at that young age. Because I feel like the teachers didn't really help my classmates understand, kind of. So when they introduced me in the class, they were like, oh, here's Jackie, this is your new student. That's basically all she said. So that was tricky. And the FM, they were like, what is that? What's the FM? Why does the teacher have to wear that? Like it was a bunch of questions that always went to me. So I feel like that was another thing that would aggravate me. I wish the teacher that I had kind of took the extra step to kind of, take me to the side, and especially because I was a new student too. I was new, I didn't know anyone. Of course she was very helpful with the FM. Of course she was, do check-ins with me as well. But at the same time, I kind of wish that she kind of asked me what helped me. And questions, like I always would say, oh, it's a Cochlear implant. And then they'll say, what's that? And I'll say, well, I'm hearing impaired. And then they'll say, what's that? And I'm like, I was like, I did get to a point where I said, well, it's someone who can't walk, they use a wheelchair, right? And then they would understand that because they see that all the time. Or glasses, I'll say, if you can't see, you wear glasses, right? And then they'll say, yeah. And I'm like, that's basically what it is for me. First thing I've seen this in my pre-practicum, and I see that someone will come in and teach some signs. Like that, even if I was in that class and I don't sign, but just that, like, would have made me feel so much better, would have made me feel that I, belong in that class. And also, I feel like I noticed how fun it was to the kids. Like they were like, "Oh my gosh, like this is fun!" Like they really like they would look forward to see him come in and teach him a sign, which I wish that teachers would do, or that's what I would tell teachers. And I would definitely, kind of talk about it with the class, kind of like awareness about it, because I feel like all the questions came to me and not to the teacher. And like at the same time, it didn't bother me. Like I love it when people come up to me and ask me questions, but I feel like at that age, like I was still trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of tricky. And yeah, so I feel like more awareness. First of all, I give my younger self a hug because because like I feel like she didn't know. Like I don't know. I would definitely say that it gets better. Especially in high school. That's when I did sign language, a course in sign language, and that's when I learned about the deaf community. That's when I learned about like the puns and all the things and traditions and stuff like that I didn't even know about, and I kind of wish I knew about that earlier. But I would definitely say, keep pushing. You got this. And also I would say not to be afraid, because like I always had my hair down. I didn't want anyone to see my hearing aid or my cochlear implant. I hated when people saw my string. And I would have said like, show it off, like it's fine. I wish I could do that.